Welcome, Gold Derby fans. The Emmy nominations are upon us, and we are here to discuss our final picks in some of these categories. Finalish, we might make some slight changes before the actual nominations come out, so keep an eye on those. But here with me to discuss our predictions, Ray Richmond, Marcus James Dixon, Daniel Montgomery. We're going to do separate slugfests. In this one, we're going to cover comedy, variety, and late nights. So let's get started with the big one, where I know that we are all are on pins and needles on what could possibly win Best Comedy Series.
Oh my God.
Um, Although we do have dissension. So I'm gonna start there. I mean, most of us have the Bear. It's heavily favored. But Marcus, you're going out on a limb now, and you recently changed your pick to Hacks at number one. So
I
talk about it.
did. I did. For me, it's which show makes me laugh the most. And so I'm going with Hacks. It's also so far, I mean, 2024 is half over, and Hacks is my favorite show of the year, comedy or drama. I have a feeling House of the Dragon might overtake that, but right now it's Hacks. And so it's also a hope diction, to steal a word from Joyce Ng. I really, really want Hacks to win. It's not that I don't want the Bear to lose. I just want something that gives me so much joy each week
Oh,
to be
you want the
thank
Bear to
you.
lose too.
um, and so I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to lose this prediction. I think you all are right that it's going to be the Bear, but we'll see. I still have some time. Maybe I'll change back.
And this is the nomination phase. So really you're predicting it to get in. I mean, this is not
Yeah.
the final phase. This is not our winners predictions necessarily. It's who we think will be nominated. You just have it at number one right now. Um, I'm going with the Bear. I think it's the clear front runner. I can't imagine it losing, even to Hacks, as well received as Hacks was. And I just think it's steamrolling. And then they're premiering the new season soon. So the excitement is all there, and it was just such an epic season. I recently caught up on it again, and I kind of disagree with people. It makes me laugh. Like there's the darkness of it makes me laugh. There's something about maybe
You're a very dark person.
I am. Maybe I like laughing at other people's pain. But
You just think grief is hilarious.
it is. I mean, when else is there a better time to laugh than when you're in complete grief and in shambles? So I'm going with the Bear. And Ray, you're on that bandwagon as well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm on the Bear wagon, as it were. I feel like you know, as I've said numerous times, I don't really laugh at this show. It's incredibly intense and gives me PTSD, but I don't find it funny, but I find it the best produced show on television at the moment. I just think it's incredible, beautifully done, spectacularly acted and shot. And I feel like it's kind of a historic show. I think it's going to go down as, one of the 50 greatest shows in TV history by the time it's done.
Wow.
Um, uh, you know, um, Depending on it lasting long enough, it's going to be tough to keep this cast together because I'm sure they're already being pulled in numerous directions to do a lot more big screen stuff. But uh, yeah, in terms of, we're only looking at nominations today. Obviously, The Bear is going to, I think, is going to end up scoring the most nominations of any comedy. Um, but yeah, you remember when Abbott Elementary was the it show, and those days have passed. But it's going to get a nomination. Curb Your Enthusiasm, they've done a lot of work on promoting it, much more so than in any other season. Larry David finally decided, yeah, what the hell? Let's actually market and publicize this thing. Um, but if I had a wish list, it would absolutely have Reservation Dogs on it. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it.
And Daniel, you're with the Bear as well.
Yeah, I think it's the Bear. Though I do think it's closer than it might seem. Because when the Bear won, it was almost unprecedented for a dramatic skewing comedy, a dramedy to win in that category. They almost always go with the show that makes you laugh, even when the dramedy is the one with the buzz, like Desperate Housewives didn't win it, and Orange is the New Black lost as a comedy the year before it was forced into drama by the Emmys. So, I don't think the Bear necessarily has a stranglehold on it, but I mean, Hacks will have to come out like guns blazing in those nominations. It needs everything. And it needs a bunch of stuff that, we wouldn't have thought it would get. So Hacks needs to greatly overperform in the nominations to have a shot against the Bear. So I've got the Bear. I've got, Hacks, Abbott, Only Murders, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Those feel like the easy bets for this category because they're familiar to voters. What We Do in the Shadows has been nominated before, so I see it getting back in. I do have Reservation Dogs also nominated, and then I've got the Gotham Award winner Colin from Accounts, just because I feel like
I like that.
Emmy voters are gonna be looking for spots to fill. So like a passion pick like that might sneak in.
One thing
we have to find some other comedies to get in this year. So that is going to be interesting. I do think The Bear is a slam dunk. Because it already broke that ceiling. Once it wins once, like you don't have that it can win, and it beat Ted Lasso, something that Hacks was not able to do. So I don't see Hacks coming in at season 3 and suddenly winning for season 3 when The Bear is so strong. But
the perception was season 2 was better than season 1 for the Bear as well.
Yeah,
and
I liked season 2 better. And
it's almost not fair that they come out with season 3, the new season right at the time when everybody's buzzing with just before the nominations and all, and building momentum, not for nomination voting, but for winner voting.
And that makes me wonder, let's pretend that The Bear season 3 is complete trash and everyone hates it. That will affect the voting for season 2, even though season 2 was so phenomenal. So it could work the opposite way too.
Yeah. I'm curious about maybe the last 3 slots. I think, do we all have The Bear, Hacks, Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building, and Curb Your Enthusiasm? Do we all have those 5 among our 8?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So then it's those bottom 3 that get tricky. You guys mentioned Reservation Dogs. It's never gotten in, so I'm skeptical about that.
I don't have it.
Although there is openings this year, so maybe if there is a time, maybe that is the one maybe it was just on the brink every year, and that's enough to get it in this year. I have What We Do in the Shadows, a former nominee in there, and then I'm going with The Gentleman on Netflix. I thought it was just like a very well done, expensive looking sort of epic comedy, and I really enjoyed it. That's sort of my Hail Mary in this category, I guess, The Gentleman. And then Palm Royale. I'm curious to see how well received Palm Royale is as a comedy, because the reviews are sort of mixed with this. But I do have Palm Royale getting in just because it's such an epic cast. And so those are sort of my bottom 3 that I'm not as confident in. What about...
I have the same 8 as you, actually, Denton. I took out Reservation Dogs. I don't think has it ever gotten anything above the line? No. Has it gotten like maybe one nomination below the line? Maybe yes. That doesn't give me a lot of hope that all of a sudden they're going to be like, we love Reservation Dogs now, especially because the show aired last year and no one really is talking about it anymore, whereas they're still talking about The Bear.
Yeah.
I feel like because it was the last season of Reservation Dogs 2, and there's the lure of it being a completely indigenous show. I feel like that could help it slip through into the nominations. But if I had, my Hail Mary would be Ghosts, which I know is a major long shot, especially because it's on network TV, but it would deserve it. It's incredibly well done, really a hilariously done, funny show. And if there's justice, there isn't, of course. If there is justice, it would finally get nominated.
My hope diction that I was making for a while there was I'm a Virgo. I would really love to see that show get recognized somewhere. I think it has a better chance in lead actor, but with 8 slots, It is possible, though it did kind of fly under the radar. I do hope, the promotional push they were doing in the spring brings it, top of mind with voters.
So over in comedy actress, so this is where I do go against the Bear sweep. I do think Jean Smart is going to win again. And then I have Quinta Brunson, Ayo Edebiri, Kristen Wiig, and Selena Gomez. Those two last slots again are a little iffy for me. I feel like Jean Smart just owns Hacks, and Ayo is great in The Bear. I don't know necessarily why she had to move from supporting to lead. That's just my opinion. I think she would have been safer in supporting, and she could have stayed there. What do you guys think? I think this is Jean Smart again.
I think this is a complete flip of the coin. I think this is the toughest category to pick in all of the Emmys. This is, Quinta could slip in if the other two split it too.
She is the reigning champion.
She's exactly. I think Ayo left the category so to allow room for Abby Elliott and Liza Colon-Zayas to slip through. I think it was actually probably, I'm sure they had meetings on this, even though they wouldn't admit it. They're supposed to be above this sort of thing, but I think they're all incredibly awards obsessed over there. At FX, from John Landgraf, their head guy, on down, they very much feel like awards are something that helps the network and its reputation in a major way. But in terms of Ayo and Jean, I've gone back and forth 6 times on this. Ayo is the it girl of the moment for sure, but Jean is forever the it woman. So,
wow.
If there is something like sentiment in the Academy, which we know there isn't, Jean would win every time.
And just the way the Bear is set up, there's episodes that Ayo's not even in. I mean, she's not like running the show in the way that Jean Smart is on Hacks. I mean, Hacks is Jean's show. I mean, it's Jean and Hannah, but it's her show. Ayo goes missing, sometimes for a whole episode. She's not there.
It's true. It's true, but I think the one they're probably putting her up for the episode is, she's all over. The one where she's going around Chicago sampling restaurant food, which was a terrific episode. They all, you can see they almost were thinking about Emmys when they scripted out the season, because everybody's got their episode.
Yeah. I want to go around Chicago just eating for a day.
For sure.
Daniel, who do you have in this category?
I've got Ayo at the moment, just sort of on the basis of, the strength of the Bear as a whole. I'm not confident in that. I think Jean Smart could easily come back and win. But Ayo, even if she doesn't win the Emmy, this move to lead has already been successful for her. She won the Golden Globe as a lead. She won the SAG Award, which combines lead and supporting. She won the Critics' Choice Award as a lead. And all of that was before she won the supporting trophy Emmy for season 1 because of the strike screwed up the calendar.
Also before Jean Smart was there.
And also before Jean Smart were there. So she didn't have to compete against Jean Smart. But she is on a roll. We do know that, voters look at, other awards voters have looked at season 2 of The Bear and said, you're the best comedy actress. So I definitely think she is, right up there with Jean Smart. I agree with Ray. It's kind of a coin flip at this point.
Marcus.
Yeah, I agree with everything everyone said, but I am going with Jean Smart, and something that Ray said, she's gonna keep winning. You said something to that effect, and it makes me think of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, she won 6 in a row for Veep. If Hacks goes 6 seasons, I think Jean could win 6. It wouldn't be in a row because they didn't do a season last year. I don't remember why. Was it COVID or something? They didn't do a season last year. So
Jean had heart surgery. So
okay.
That's right.
I'm glad she's better.
I think you're right, Marcus. I think she's almost like a Candice Bergen,
Yeah.
would have won every year for Murphy Brown. Same idea.
Although
Mhm.
interestingly, just to go back to comedy series for a second, remember that just like Veep, Julie Louis-Dreyfus was winning right away, but Veep didn't start winning comedy series until the middle of its run. So Hacks could, even do the same thing at some point.
Yeah. But then my other nominees, I have AO in second, Quinta in third, and then I have Maya Rudolph in fourth and Kristen Wiig in fifth. But I could see them snubbing both Maya and Kristen. I could see them both getting in or both missing out. So I don't know what to do there. I don't think Selena Gomez is going to make it in. She's never made it in here. And I mean, there's 5 nominees just like last year. That's not a lot.
Yeah, but I was looking at, I mean, that's why this is a difficult category because I think we all agree there's 3 locks, Jane, Quinta, and Io.
Yep.
But then I have Kristen Wiig and Palmerell and Selena Gomez. Selena hasn't gotten in before, but neither has anyone below her. I mean,
Mm,
Rudolph hasn't gotten in, didn't get in for Loot the last season.
yeah.
Palmerell is a new series. Devery Jacobs is next in the odds. She's never gotten in. And then it's Harriet Dyer from Calling from Accounts. Maybe she will. Maybe they will love Calling from Accounts.
Yeah.
One thing we've talked about is that Emmy voters seem to watch 3 or 4 shows, and then it's like, especially in the
Right.
supporting categories, they just flood them with these shows. But these lead categories are a little difficult to predict when we only have 3 really proven actresses in this category.
And even though Luke didn't get in last year, I mean, Apple spent all of its comedy money on Ted Lasso last year. So now that Ted Lasso's gone, they have all of this money to spend on Luke and Paul Royale. So that's why I think they could both get in.
I see Kristen and Maya getting in. I don't see Selena. I just have I don't think she's very good on the show. I mean, this is strictly my own taste. I've never been a big fan of her on the show.
Her billion of followers are going to unfriend you, right?
Yeah, you should just delete your social media right now.
I think I'm screwed. You're right. I know.
Also, like, there's a little, like, Only Murders in the Building is sort of, it doesn't have the buzz it did the
Right,
first
the cachet. Yeah.
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 What did she do in season 3 that was better than season 2? Nothing.
But also,
Well,
like,
I would say the field being this open. I have Selena in fourth. I think the field being this open from previous seasons. I think it's I don't want to say empty, but like it's open enough that I think if she might have been 6th, 7th, 8th in previous years, she rises to top 5 this time.
I'm with Daniel
Yeah.
on that because we talk like maybe Only Murders doesn't have the cachet that it used to, but neither does Colin from Accounts at this point, unless it does, and it's a mystery. And then you've got like Sarah Lancashire, who from Julia, that people thought could win at one point when that show started, and I just don't see that happening.
And to Daniel's point, I mean, this category last year had Quinta, who won, and then Christina Applegate, not eligible. Rachel Brosnahan, not eligible. Natasha Lyonne, not eligible. Jenna Ortega, not eligible. So there will be 4 different people there.
Yeah. It's a radically different category. It's true.
And we've got some girls, Five Eva actors down there, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Sarah Bareilles, and then Amy Schumer, Life and Beth. Maybe they throw her in there because she's.
I actually love her and love her on that show. And if I had she would absolutely top my wish list. It's a highly underappreciated show.
Well, getting into comedy actor, this is a slam dunk, and I think we all agree. Jeremy Allen White, the Bear, has he lost anything since the Bear started?
No.
I don't think he has
Nothing.
ever lost
Not a
anything. No.
single thing.
Like any sort of critics award, like Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, Emmy, SAG, everything.
No.
He can't be stopped. Especially when the next 2 in our odds are like Martin Short, who just hasn't won for Only Murders. Why would that start now? Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm is in third, which sort of surprises me actually. But this is how open this category is. That's Steve Martin from Only Murders, who missed last year.
Yeah.
And then Theo James. And part of the reason I'm predicting The Gentleman in comedy is because of the acting, and I think they could get a couple acting nominations because these categories are so bizarre. Because right under Theo James is then Kelsey Grammer for Frasier. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And then Jarrell Jerome for I'm a Virgo. If they do like I'm a Virgo, then Jarrell Jerome will get in.
And he's a past Emmy winner, so they know him at least.
Yeah. I think Steve Martin will return to this category because last year we had Bill Hader, Jason Segel, and Jason Sudeikis, and those three won't be back. So Jeremy Allen White definitely is back. Martin Short definitely is back. So I think Steve Martin is pretty safe here. And then I have Theo James and I have Larry David. Larry David, I think that he's been nominated 6 times just for acting. So even though he's playing himself and that usually doesn't win, I think he's safe for a nomination.
Or he's playing kind of an asshole version of himself.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I agree. I go back and forth on whether Steve Martin's even going to make it into the group. I think Theo James is in. I'm not sure about Kelsey. I think the perception of Frasier is that, you know, not quite up to the standard of the original. But it's interesting. There are so many actors that have graduated, as it were, that are no longer eligible. That you know, except for the one who looks like it's going to eventually win. It looks like Jeremy Allen White is almost kind of a lock here. The nominees themselves could vary wild from even what we're talking about.
Yeah. Again, if they love Calling from Accounts, which is a show that people love, that a lot of people just haven't seen, so have Emmy voters. If they have, then Patrick Permal could definitely get in, and then we've got DeFaro Wunatai from Reservation Dogs. If that comedy can finally get in with these openings, then is he finally going to get his nomination? Kayvon Novak from What We Do in the Shadows, and Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows.
This category specifically loves doing 2 in a row. So I think Jeremy's pretty safe. Jason Sudeikis did 2 in a row. Bill Hader did 2 in a row. Jeffrey Tambor. Jim Parsons did 4, and 2 of those were both in a row. And then Alec Baldwin did 2 in a row. So yeah, that seems like a magic number. So maybe he won't win next year for his 3rd, but I think he's got this one.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Allen White's pretty safe. I think the top 4 for me, I feel pretty safe about: Jeremy Allen White, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Larry David. Just like, you know, I don't know who knocks any of them out. And then that last spot is the tricky one. You know, I've got Kelsey Grammer getting that now. You know, every once in a while when there's an opening, sometimes voters are not thinking that hard about this. They're like, oh, I liked him before. And if they can't find anyone else that on a show that they either watch or that they are, you know, excited about, they might just defer back to him.
Yeah, that 5th slot. Again, I'm hoping that they watched The Gentleman and they liked it. It's just so well acted and directed and written. But
I agree. I'm picking Theo James to get it.
But it's not really like an LOL comedy. It's like an action thriller comedy. It defies genre. So let's move on to comedy supporting actress. Now, this is a race. And it's really a race because Meryl Streep makes everything a race. But I now have Hannah Einbinder winning for Hacks. I think she was the star of the season in Hacks this year. A lot of people are saying that. And let's remember that Meryl Streep has been nominated for everything all the time, but she has a losing record. I mean, she loses more than she wins, even though we think she's this undeniable force.
Yeah, she's won like 3 or 4 Oscars, right? But nominated 18 times.
Yeah. So, you know, she's unstoppable to get in, but she's not unstoppable to beat. And Hacks just has that, you know, the buzz for it more than Only Murders.
Especially if Gene wins. They could double up. Yeah, you know, I've gone back and forth. I have Meryl winning at the moment. I'm still going off of the original buzz from, you know, that came down where everyone was like, well, obviously she's winning the Emmy this year. But, you know, it's not like guest actress where Jamie Lee Curtis is probably the biggest lock, maybe in Emmy history.
Yeah.
But Meryl, yeah, she has the added benefit of having been hilarious and terrific on the show. Yeah, Hannah Einbinder is formidable. I mean, both comedy lead and comedy supporting are great races. And, you know, I don't see Cheryl Lee. I think Cheryl Lee Ralph will make it in. I think there'll be a couple of, at least one Bear nominee, probably Abby Elliott, possibly Liza Colon-Zayas. But yeah, before this category was kind of owned by Abbott Elementary, and those days are gone.
Marcus, I'm guessing you're going with Hannah based on
I
your.
do. So that means I have Hacks winning comedy, Jean winning actress, and Hannah winning supporting actress. I could be wrong on all three, but right now I have Hannah winning. And I'm looking back, the 2 times she lost to Hannah Waddingham for that breakout first season of Ted Lasso. I think that was a lock for Hannah Waddingham to win over Hannah Einbinder. Season 2, though, Hannah lost to Cheryl Lee Ralph, and that was not a lock. That was more of a surprise. So I wonder if she couldn't do it then, why would she do it now? I know she has incredible reviews, especially for the finale, which I'm guessing will be her episode submission. So I don't know. I'm picking Hannah, but if Meryl Streep ends up winning, I'll just be like, well, duh, of course. She was playing a kooky character on Only Murders, and she sang on Only Murders. Like that role was made to win an Emmy.
And she was playing she was stretching as an actress more than she ever has by playing a struggling actress.
Yeah.
She had to portray an actress who has had difficulty in her career.
And she had a romantic relationship with Martin Short. Like that character ran the gamut. And I think she's coming back for season 4, which I think they're going to be airing that during phase 2 of voting.
I think so, yeah.
What do we have filling out the category? I have Cheryl Lee Ralph, former winner. And then I'm going with Allison Janney for Palm Royale. Again, this is going to be dependent on what they think of Palm Royale. But Allison Janney is
kind of.
She's like a Meryl Streep of TV.
Except she wins a lot.
Yeah. So I just feel like I'm just putting her in there because she's an Emmy favorite. I do have Abby Elliott, although I wonder. Like, I'm really torn between her and Liza Colon-Zayas. I'm not sure which one of those can get in. I don't have both of them getting in because then I have Janelle James and Abbott Elementary coming back. Or does Janelle get snubbed and Abby and Liza both get in?
That's what I have.
Or does Carol Burnett get in if they do really like Palm Royale? And
right, I was going to say
Burnett.
Carol. You know, hard to vote against Carol getting in, but
yeah, I've got 2 Bears and 2 Abbotts. I've got both Abby. I've actually got Abby up in 3rd. I think Bears definitely getting a slot in here. And then I've got Liza Colon-Zayas on the bubble, but I have her getting in. And then Cheryl and Janelle for Abbott Elementary, just sort of, you know, easy carryover nominations. These are shows we know that the voters are watching, along with Hacks and Only Murders. They're consistent nominees, the shows. So, you know, I feel good about that 6. And that actually, I think, happens to be the 6 that our odds have.
So no Allison Janney for you?
No Allison Janney for me.
Okay. Liza, yeah, I don't have Liza in there, but I might swap. Just that karaoke episode. I mean,
it's terrific. Yeah, I have, I think exactly what Daniel has too. I have Abby and Liza and Janelle and Cheryl Lee Ralph. I feel like that's, you know, yeah, I'm gambling that voters haven't watched a lot of Palm Royale. I mean, I think it's a good show, and I hope they have. But I'm guessing that, you know, the veterans, as it were, are going to predominate instead.
The Palm Royale premiere event and reception that Denton and I went to with Latasha was one of the best events of the year. The whole cast was there, and they had specialty drinks. And if there were a lot of voters there, I could see them just saying, "This party's amazing. I'm voting for the show." This is the second year.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure where Abbott Elementary stands right now in terms of how the season is going. And if it isn't as strong, it could be Janelle James that falls off. I mean, maybe she's the one that just doesn't get in this year.
Yeah.
And they go with Allison or Carol.
This is the second year in a row that Carol Burnett is a guest star, but she's in too many episodes, so she has to go supporting. She did not get in for Better Call Saul under that scenario. So I'm just saying she probably won't get in for Palm Royale. I do have Allison Janney, but I took out Janelle James to put Allison Janney in there.
Okay. Allison Janney's just so like wickedly great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my problem is like if you did watch it, she has to get in.
If I was a voter, I would vote for Lisa and Walter here. So I hope, I'll put that into the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Okay.
Allison Janney was great on Mom, and is from what I gather, never was she ever nominated for Mom?
Oh yeah, she won twice,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, she did. Okay.
And Mom was not like like a comedy heavy hitter. So like even if Palm Royale's not,
Yeah.
neither was Mom. So all right, comedy supporting actor again. This one's probably a slam dunk here. Eben Moss-Bachrach for The Bear. Then we've got Tyler James Williams, Abbott Elementary, Oliver Platt, The Bear, Lionel Boyce, The Bear, Paul Rudd, Only Murders in the Building, and Maddie Matheson, The Bear. Those are our top 6 in the odds. I actually am dropping one below. I'm leaving Maddie Matheson from The Bear off, and I'm going with Paul Downs from Hacks. So I have the top 5 plus Paul Downs, and exchanging a Bear person for a Hacks person. That seems easy to me, but maybe it's Paul Rudd from Only Murders they leave off, and it is all Bear and Hacks, other than Tyler James Williams.
Yeah, Paul Rudd was so good on Murders, though. I would keep him in. I think Oliver Platt gets in. He was nominated last year too. I think in guest last year. And I think there's only so much Bear to go around here. I don't think Lionel or Maddie are getting in. But I think Tyler James Williams again. I think it's time they nominate Bowen Yang, which I'm sure Marcus will love to hear.
Hold on, so you don't have Lionel getting in?
I don't have Lionel getting in.
But he
I
has
don't
a
either.
great episode. He has the episode where he's
I
like,
know. I know. Yeah. I know he has
okay,
the one where he goes
that's
to
wrong.
Copenhagen. I know.
You're wrong.
I don't have him
getting in.
That episode put me to sleep. I'm not.
I love that episode.
That is such a good episode.
No,
Good, we
that
have a little
episode,
disagreement.
no,
I'm betting on Will Poulter to be nominated later on. We'll talk about for that episode too.
Yeah, Lionel is definitely getting in. You guys are
Okay.
insane.
Oh, Lionel over Oliver Platt.
I have Oliver and then Lionel. So I have both of them. If I was voting, I would vote for Lionel over Oliver. But I mean, Eben should win, obviously. But so who are you missing then? Because I don't have Maddie Matheson getting in. I think his role is very small. He's endearing, he's lovable, but I just don't see that happening.
No, I don't either. I don't
So do
either.
you have Paul Downs in, or like who are your last 2 slots or 3?
My last 2 are I have I wanted to shake things up a little. I have Bowen Yang and JB Smoove.
Oh, okay.
I think JB has been kind of the secret weapon of Curb Your Enthusiasm for many years. And if anybody's going to get recognized, I think it's Larry David will get nominated, but I think JB's got a shot, more of a shot than voters think.
Well, that's fun. I don't hate that for you. Okay. Daniel, who do you have in the lower 3 here?
Yeah, I've got Eben to win, Tyler James Williams, Oliver Platt. I do have the Bear getting 4 for 4. It's one of those places where I'm just like, Maddie Matheson is your Gwendolyn Christie. She just like gets in because everybody's getting in. So I've got Moss-Bachrach, Tyler James Williams, Oliver Platt, Paul Rudd, Lionel Boyce, and Maddie Matheson. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Boyce gets snubbed, but if that happens, I would expect him to be replaced by Paul W. Downs or Carl Clemens Hopkins from Hacks. Again, it's the shows that they happen to watch. We know they watch Hacks. We know they watch The Bear. And it's probably going to come from those shows.
People love Chris Perfetti too, if Abbott Elementary is still going strong. And then there's also down in the odds, it could be posthumous for Richard Lewis, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I would love that.
True.
Before Hacks season 3 came out, I, like probably everyone else, had Carl Clemens Hopkins getting a nomination, but his character just really was kind of overlooked this year. And I wonder why, if something was going on behind the scenes. Like there was hardly any of this character. So I swapped him out for Paul W. Downs, whose role was greatly increased this year. And he brought a lot of the laughs to Hacks. So I think he's pretty safe, even though he's in 7th place in our odds, which is one below. There's only going to be 6. I think Paul W. Downs is pretty locked in here. And I only have 3 bears. I don't have Lionel either. I just can't put 4 bears in here. I can't.
So you have Maddie instead of Lionel?
Yeah, because Maddie's the funny one. I keep going back to the funny versus non-funny.
That's true. Like he
Maddie
is the standout comedy performance on
yeah, he's the funniest character
He's the only
actor
comic
on
relief
on the show.
really.
But
Yeah.
he's like, okay. It's just Lionel,
He's also an
Lionel
executive.
Boyce getting nominated. If Lionel Boyce doesn't get nominated, I'm not coming to our next slugfest.
Why
Okay.
is he so low though? He's only in 4th place. If he's such a lock, he should be higher, right?
Well, no, because you've got Evan who's gonna win, Tyler who gets in every year, and then it's Oliver Platt. So like I think he's locked into 4th. Like I think he's easily 4th. And he was in one of my favorite episodes. And then I think it's dicey between Paul Rudd, Maddie Matheson, and Paul W. Downs, and then maybe Bowen Yang. And I love Ray's choice of JB Smoove. It's probably not going to happen for Ray, but I'm happy that he did that.
I actually have Bowen Yang in my last place. I don't have Paul Rudd. I mean, he was basically only in flashbacks. I mean, he was just a dead body for the whole season. So I just can't nominate a dead body.
Did Bowen get in last year? No.
No,
he
but he did the year before.
Right.
Remember, never underestimate dead bodies. Ben Mendelsohn is screaming at you right now.
All right, let's move on to comedy guest actress, where Jamie Lee Curtis delivers the dramatic performance of the year, and she's going to win Best Comedy Guest Actress for it.
It's already done.
And then we have if she wasn't in her way, my prediction, I mean, she's way lower in our odds than I'm saying, but my second place is Maya Rudolph, who to me was the standout SNL host this year. Just the monologue and Beyonce, that's all she needed. And then we've got Olivia Colman, the Bear, Caitlin Olsen, Hacks, Smith Cameron, Hacks, and Sarah Paulson, the Bear. I'm going with the odds here. I have all 6 of them getting in. How about you, Daniel? Where are you on this category?
I've got 5 of those 6 getting in. I've got Jamie winning. I've got Maya Rudolph in second also. Olivia Colman, the Bear. I think those are the 3 safe ones. And then I've got Caitlin Olsen and J. Smith Cameron, but I also have Jane Lynch getting in for Only Murders in the Building, just because of the nature of that character and what's building up from that coming up in season 4. So I think I've got her sneaking in there, and also Jane Lynch, never underestimate her. She often gets in no matter what she does.
I have the 6 that the odds are, but I have them in a different order. I actually have Maya Rudolph at number 1. So I love how you guys are so confident Jamie Lee Curtis is winning. I have Jamie in second.
When that episode came out, immediately everyone said this race is, I mean, people have thought this race was over since the day that episode aired.
I think it was. I think
The issue though, Maya Rudolph has 5 Emmys that she's won over the past like 3 years. They love her and they love her now.
But Jamie Lee Curtis is loved now as well. Ever since Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, people just love her.
She just won an Oscar last year, and she's better in this show than she was in that movie.
And it's a testament to the quality of TV that Jamie Lee Curtis could lose an Emmy for a performance that's better than what she won the Oscar for.
Speaking of Oscars, we have Divine in 7th place. I really want to put her in, but who do I take out? Olivia Colman?
And speaking of more Oscars, then right after Divine, it's Helen Hunt for Hacks. So there's a lot of Oscar winners in this category.
Yeah. I mean, do I take out?
That's what guest is for, you know.
And then
The
way
giant
down there's
names.
Emma Stone for SNL. So poor
Maybe
Emma.
I'll take out Olivia and put in Divine, or maybe Sarah Paulson. I mean, I don't know what to do. I wish there was 7.
I wouldn't take out Olivia. That would um
I just
Although it's
didn't
a,
like that episode.
I mean,
Did you
it's
like
such
any?
a,
You disliked the two of the very best episodes of.
No, I like the Christmas one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
no, that
yeah.
Olivia
This is
Colman
another
episode,
one of the best episodes of the season. So
it is.
you
It
have
is
you have
absolutely the
strange
greatest.
taste.
No.
the thing with Olivia is it wasn't really much of a performance. I mean,
Thank you.
she was more of a sight gag, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just like some sweet lady, like
That could have been played by anybody.
picking
But it was
mushrooms.
played by Olivia Colman,
I mean,
and that
what you all
matters
are
at the Emmys.
what you all are saying about Jamie Lee Curtis, I agree with everything you're saying, but I can't go down that same line and say the same things about Olivia Colman's performance. It just didn't do it.
No, I agree.
Not
I
the
mean,
same.
she's
Yeah,
not
she's not as
Olivia-
strong a contender.
She's not winning. And she could even be like in 4th, 5th, or 6th, but it is the Bear and it's Olivia Colman. So and then speaking of that, so we have Jamie Lee Curtis and Maya Rudolph in that SNL Bear face off in one category, and then in the next one, another good one, Jon Bernthal versus Ryan Gosling for his Saturday Night Live hosting. I have Jon Bernthal because I feel like Marcus, I actually went with your theory that you were correct about. Was it last year when um there's too much laughing while he's hosting, like the whole Beavis and Butthead. There's too much laughing, like so the
Yeah.
acting in there. So I'm going with Jon Bernthal because of the acting. For as much buzz as Ryan Gosling got for SNL, it's just too like haha, like they're breaking in the middle of skits. So who was that last year that you were talking about, Marcus?
I'm pulling it up now. So the winner was Sam Richardson, and then we had Jon Bernthal, Luke Kirby, Nathan Lane, Pedro Pascal, and
Pedro
Oliver
Pascal.
Platt. Okay.
That's who everyone was, not everyone, but myself and many were predicting Pedro Pascal would win for SNL. And then you said correctly, like there's just too much laughing in the middle of the skits, and I think the same applies to Ryan Gosling. So I'm going with Jon Bernthal.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I don't have Ryan winning. I have him in second. This is a dark horse category for me. I don't even think he's in the top 6. Christopher Lloyd for Hacks. He's in 7th, and I have him winning. So he just made me laugh out loud. I'm sitting home alone with my kitty and laughing at this guy's performance in the car. The one-liners in the car was just killing me. I hope everyone out there has a chance to watch this episode. It was the Christmas episode of Hacks. And please, if there's an Emmy god, he needs to win for this.
Okay. Daniel, who do you have?
I've got Jon Bernthal winning. This will be a performance that earns him 2 Emmy nominations because, let's be honest, he earned his first nomination for Fishes as well. Because he was barely in season 1. Blink and you miss him.
Another dead body.
Yes. And in this case, the flashback episode, he was so front and center in it. And, his conflict with Bob Odenkirk's character, I've got Bob Odenkirk in second for the Bear. I think Jon Bernthal is going to win it. I've got Ryan Gosling down in third. I do have Christopher Lloyd in there in fourth.
Yes.
And then I've got Will Poulter for the Bear. And I'm going Only Murders in the Building again. I think Matthew Broderick was so funny in his episode of Only Murders, playing a version of himself. So I think he sneaks in.
He's playing himself though. Does that make you worry at all?
A little bit, but it's such an exaggerated, kind of portrayal. It's more like the playing yourself you do on Only Murder or on Curb Your Enthusiasm than it is him actually playing himself.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, how about you?
I've got Jon Bernthal winning. I've got 3 Bears in there. Got Bob Odenkirk in second. John Mulaney in fourth. Ryan Gosling in third. I have Christopher Lloyd in there also, but I also have Bruce Dern. I think there's for Palm Royale is a little bit of an upset pick.
Yeah,
But you're right. You're right about Bernthal getting it last time based on Fishes for the second season.
And I think y'all are convincing me to switch to John Bernthal, but I'm going to keep Christopher Lloyd at number 2. Am I the only one with Jerry Seinfeld who also is playing himself? But it was such a great version of himself, I guess you could say, in the finale, the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, you're the only one doing that.
I think there's a little backlash against Jerry these days. You know, he's doing that finger wagging. You know, you're not.
He's on the cancel culture circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all too much about how about you're having a thin skin and comedy is dead because of you and your cancel culture.
Even Julie Louis-Dreyfus, when they asked her, she's like, "Yeah, nah."
All right, maybe
she wasn't going on board with him.
I'll take him out and put Bob. I don't have Bob Odenkirk, so that's just going to be an easy switch.
What is wrong with you?
I had to put Jerry in there.
But okay.
What is wrong with this guy's predictions?
Bob Odenkirk and the Bear. Okay. And you love Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, but he's a loser.
He's the ultimate.
But he's a nominee all the time.
Yeah, he nominated 1 billion times. He only won for like writing SNL or writing something back in the old days.
Yeah,
didn't he win for Mr. Show or something?
Was that what it was?
I think so.
I think it was a writing Emmy, yeah, but never for acting.
But the dinner scene, I mean, him just getting in a fight with, okay. Anyway, does anyone else have Christopher McDonald in? Am I alone there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very close to having him in there, but he's sort of my 7th. If I replace somebody, it would probably be with Christopher.
I have John Mulaney in and not Will Poulter because I do have Christopher Lloyd in as well. Because I think Will Poulter's role was sort of muted. But I
think John Mulaney was kind of barely there though. Like, he's sort of like him, and the reason I'm not picking Sarah Paulson because I know the voters are watching the show. So if they're watching the show, they'll realize that these performances are kind of not really high profile roles.
Yeah.
But Will Poulter wasn't really a high profile role.
I think he's much more the focus of his scenes though.
But he's like putting together crackers.
Yeah, but like you could say that about any scene on or any episode in The Bear. Like the way it describes isn't as good as it actually is. It's like, oh, Liza Colon-Zayas, she sings karaoke, but if you actually watch the thing, it's actually a fantastic scene, a fantastic episode. So
it is.
Debris, goes around Chicago eating food. That sounds boring, but it's actually really phenomenal. So I think it plays better than it reads.
Okay.
I have Christopher Lloyd, but not Christopher McDonald. I'm only allowed one Christopher per show in my picks.
Christopher McDonald's character is always kind of a dick, but in this season, like we started seeing more of him opening up, and he got in 2 years ago, so we know this is a performance that they like.
Well, let's change direction. We have to squeeze in one of our slugfests some other things. So let's get to competition program. And RuPaul's Drag Race, obviously a dominant force here, other than that one season that the Lizzo reality show won. But they're gone and not coming back. So RuPaul's Drag Race again is definitely the front runner. But then we've got the Traitors, which is coming in hot. It's Peacock's Phenom, and then in our odds we have Top Chef, Survivor, The Voice, and The Amazing Race. Survivor got back in last year. I think it was a tremendous season, but I think they're gonna fall back out this year. So I'm going with The Amazing Race, which always gets in. And so I have RuPaul's Drag Race, The Traitors, Top Chef, The Voice, The Amazing Race. Marcus, what say you are
first to talk about Survivor? It got in last year after 17 years of snubs because of a person named Carolyn. Her alliance was really popular. and Carolyn's so popular that she is now going to be on The Traitors season 3. And so you're right, there's no Carolyn this time around, but the show increased from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. So we got to get to know all of these players a lot more. So I think it's safe. I have it in third. Traitors did not get in last year, which was really weird because it was a big breakout season, but season 2, I think, is even better. So if Traitors does not get in now, it's going to blow my mind. So I have Traitors winning. Like you said, Lizzo was able to beat RuPaul. So RuPaul's Drag Race is not invincible here. I have Traitors winning, and then Drag Race, Survivor, Squid Game, The Challenge, and Top Chef.
Daniel, how about you?
I've got Emmy voters being set in their ways as they often are. I've got RuPaul winning, then I've got Top Chef, Amazing Race, The Voice, Survivor. The Traitors didn't get in last year. That's why I'm not predicting it this year. I feel like it could, but like I feel like with my lineup, I'm gonna get at least 4 of them right because voters are very like rare to change things up. Occasionally they do like they did with RuPaul or like they did with Lizzo. But so the Traitors could replace one of my 5, but I'd be surprised if I didn't get at least 4 of these.
The thing about The Voice, in case people don't know, Blake Shelton was on every single season except for the 2 that are eligible now. Reba McEntire replaced him. So this will be a test. Like, can The Voice still get in without Blake? I guess we'll have to see.
I don't think the Emmy voters care about Blake Shelton. I think they care about the design of the show, like because it gets so many tech awards or nominations and awards for lighting and all this other stuff that like other talent shows just aren't getting. So I think I think voters do go a little bit deeper in how The Voice is put together, not necessarily the host. But Ray, you watch more reality TV show than any of us, so
Yeah.
I want to know
Yeah.
your thoughts.
I'm going with the way Marcus voted. I'm going with the Traitors winning.
There we go.
And I think it's going to upset RuPaul. And I have The Voice, Top Chef, and I also have The Amazing Race getting it. I feel like it's going to get in there twice in a row. What I say is sacrosanct because I do watch more reality than anyone in the United States. Actually, that's so not true. However, I sense the momentum of the Traitors, and I feel like it's going to carry it to victory.
If things had turned out differently, I really think that The Golden Bachelor would have been the season that brought The Bachelor some real recognition. But Jerry and Teresa's divorce really screwed them over.
Yeah, that didn't really help, did it?
Like that really just was like, the producers are like, can you just announce this after Emmy voting is over?
Yeah.
Because that really screwed them over. And then Squid Game, The Challenge, it was great. It was entertaining, but it's really like wonky. You've got like 500 people there and like by the end, it's like the final 3 contestants. I was like, I don't even know who.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's a problem when you can't, when it's all about personalities. And if the personalities aren't front and center, forget it.
So it's a struggle to tell a storyline with that many contestants when you have over 400 people there. So
Yeah.
I feel like, although I enjoyed it, but then you've also got the big Nailed It baking challenge, and Nailed It has traditionally gotten in, but this is kind of a separate thing, and maybe it still will, but I'm not sure. Hosting, can Alan Cumming dethrone RuPaul? Are we finally ready for a new reality host winner? I don't think so. I have RuPaul in first, but I have Alan Cumming in seconds. And then I have the Queer Eye hosts who would consistently get in. Kristen Kish, who would be new for Top Chef, but Top Chef does traditionally get its host in. Padma has gotten in there. And then this is what's weird in our odds. This is why I mentioned the Nailed It baking challenge in the last category, because it's not predicted to get in, but here we have Nicole Byer in third place because she's gotten in before. So is Nicole Byer getting in without her show, or is Jeff Probst going to make a return? Mikey Day is a cake. Shark Tank hosts. Ryan Seacrest, I thought was great on American Idol. I think it was one of his best years ever hosting. He had a lot more personality. It seemed like he really wanted to be there this year, like, or maybe he was just gunning for that Emmy. So maybe Ryan Seacrest can sneak back in. Uh, what do you guys think? Marcus, who do you think Alan can beat RuPaul this year?
Yes, and I'm not predicting it. I have Alan in second, but it totally can be an upset here. I mean, RuPaul has won this 8 in a row, and that's a lot. And I mean, is RuPaul still just as good as 8 years ago? I don't know. Sometimes RuPaul can be a little robotic on the show and possibly has been replaced by a robot. Who knows? Would we know? But I think if anyone can upset here, it would be Alan Cumming, who's, you know, this award-winning actor doing this crazy version of himself, like a villainous version of himself with the amazing costumes and the Scottish Highlands. And he's out there campaigning. He did an interview with Gold Derby and other outlets. Maybe I'm gonna switch to Alan winning here, actually.
Daniel, what
I
about
have
you?
Alan winning.
Oh, Ray, go ahead.
Yes, sorry to interrupt. I have Alan winning, and I have RuPaul second. I think it's time for RuPaul to be dethroned. The man cannot win every year for the rest of our lives. So I think this is the time. And I have a few semi upsets. I mean, I have Gordon Ramsay third. I have the Queer Eye hosts, and then Mikey Day for Is It Cake? I feel like a little new blood is going to come into the category. And that's it. I said it.
It's fascinating that Gordon Ramsay is so high on our odds for Next Level Chef, because that's one of his. I mean, Master Chef and Hell's Kitchen are definitely more watched. So Next Level Chef is a great show.
Is he only on the ballot though for this one? Maybe that's why.
That's possible.
Maybe he only picked like, I only want to be on the ballot once. I don't want to split my own vote.
Possible. Daniel, where are you at with this?
I've got RuPaul winning again. It's hard to introduce new blood just because I feel like there are a lot of established people, a lot of previous nominees back in this race. So I've got Nicole Byer getting back in. I do have Top Chef getting back in, but for its new host. I have the Shark Tank hosts getting back in. They've gotten in before. I do have Alan Cumming in fifth. I think if he gets in, he's got a shot. The hardest thing will be to break into a category with a lot of established people already on the ballot. I don't have the Queer Eye hosts just because there was a lot of behind the scenes drama with the Queer Eye hosts. I'm not sure that reflected well on the cast or left anyone feeling good about the relationships on that show. So that's just speculation on my part of whether that has an impact on Emmy voting. I think it might. So yeah, that's my five.
I like that you have the Shark Tank hosts there. Gold Derby actually hosted a panel with them. So they're out there campaigning and they really want it. So maybe I'll put them in. I may take out Jeff Probst. I have him in just as like a Hope Dixon, but he won 4 times back in the early years of this category and then was never nominated again. So he's never lost.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting if that happened to RuPaul at some point? At some point, they just stop nominating RuPaul.
I could see that. And then what about the We're Here hosts? They also went through a change. I think that there's 4 brand new ones that were not in the older seasons. I could see them getting in.
Yeah. I would have a shout out for Will Arnett for Lego Masters. It's not It's not one of the most watched shows, but he's one of the great hosts. I mean, the way he hosts it is very entertaining. And Emmy voters do like Lego Masters. It hasn't gotten into like the main category, but it's gotten into for like reality editing and directing and or if technical awards like that. So Lego Masters is on their radar, and I think it would be kind of fun if Will Arnett.
And he mentions on the show I have never been nominated for an Emmy before. Like he's breaking the fourth wall, basically pleading the voters, please vote for him.
You gotta love that.
Variety Talk series. Our odds have The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Late Night with Seth Meyers. On the bubble, our John Mulaney presents Everybody's in LA. Hot Ones, that would be cool. And Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and Real Time with Bill Maher. I'm going with the odds here. All four of those shows have generally gotten in. I do have The Daily Show winning. I don't know if that's the wisest choice, but that's where I'm at. And then I have Colbert, Kimmel, and Seth Meyers.
It's definitely the wisest choice because it won last year when very few of us, if any of us, were predicting it. And now Jon Stewart's back. So of course it's going to win.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I have the other three that Gold Derby's predicting as well.
I'm going to be boring and admit that I am following suit to both of you. Yeah, I feel like they're not going to vote against Jon Stewart, even if he's only there one day a week. He's injected energy into the show and into the format. Even though I'm a big Colbert fan, but I don't think it's winning. But yeah, I feel like Daily Show, Colbert, Jimmy, and Seth are all getting nominated.
I've got most of the four getting it. I do have a slight difference. I've got The Daily Show winning, although it'll be interesting. I don't know if a show with this kind of rotating panel of hosts has kind of won this before. It's usually very personality focused, on one host who is really loved by the Emmys at any particular time. But Jon Stewart, and it's the reigning champion, so I think it's the safest bet for me right now. Then I've got Colbert. Then I've got John Mulaney. I think John Mulaney does get in, and my only question is, does he knock out Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers? Right now I have Seth Meyers getting in and Jimmy Kimmel getting knocked out, but I think the only ones I think are safe are those top two, Daily Show and Colbert.
What is the John Mulaney Everybody's in LA? Like, is it just a standard talk show or what? I don't even know what that is.
I'm just predicting it because I know how much the voters like Mulaney in general when he's doing this kind of or when he's doing these comedy shows. So that's my I'm playing a hunch.
And by the way, Jimmy Kimmel Live has 12 nominations, never has won. That's
I'm keeping Jimmy Kimmel in there because he's my favorite late night.
I like him too. Yeah, I'm keeping him in there for sure. You're right. It is interesting, the Daily Show having the rotating hosts, and that's just by design now. They're not even looking for a permanent host. This is just what they're going with for into the future for the foreseeable future. It's interesting.
Well, the next category will be fast because it's the most pathetic. Variety scripted series, there's 4 options, and 2 get in. So you have a 50% chance of being nominated, and obviously Painting with John is going to win. It's Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live. I mean, those are going to be the 2 options. Those will be the nominees, and then I'm predicting Last Week Tonight with John Oliver because they just don't lose.
No, it never loses. What is it, won like 10 times in a row?
I believe it's up to 9. Yeah, I think this would be 10.
And SNL is not. It's still good, but it's not at its strong point right now. I mean, they need to work on a few things.
Just
and
wait
maybe
till
next season they have a better shot because it'll be the election. They'll be able to, it'll be eligible next year.
And it's season 50, so they're gonna, have a special, and there's going to be a bunch of former.
It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So I may predict SNL to win next year, but this year, I mean, nothing's beating John Oliver.
Well, we're at animated, and I'm not an expert here. I'm gonna admit it. I don't watch a lot of animated TV. So I'm going with the odds mostly. I have The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, and X-Men 97. The one in our odds that I'm not choosing, and I don't know exactly what it is Blue Eye Samurai. And then you've got Star Trek Lower Decks, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, Harley Quinn, Family Guy, so Archer, which was a big deal for many years. So what do you guys have? What am I missing? I mean, who can give me the inside scoop on these animated shows that I don't
Yeah,
know?
I know a little bit more about animation. I mean, if you follow television, you know that The Simpsons has been around forever and will always be in originals for till the end of time for the remainder of our lives. I
And
think
didn't
it's
it
what
just win last year?
I think it did. There's the perception that The Simpsons has had a huge resurgence in quality over the last few years, and that it had, like a 10 or 12 year sort of lag after the original great 8 seasons, that it kind of, was just sort of treading water, and then it hit its stride again over the, basically since like 2022. And so that's why I think our odds are favoring it, and our voters are favoring it. And Rick and Morty is a cool show, and kind of beloved by its audience. X-Men, you can't lose with that format. Bob's Burgers is another beloved show, been around for like 14, 15 years, and is still performing at the top of its game. And I also have Big Mouth as my number 5.
I just looked at the shows that have traditionally gotten nominated year after year, and so that's why I have my top 4, and then I just threw in X-Men '97 because it's number 2 in our odds. So that was my thinking.
Yeah, I don't know much about X-Men '97, but a few months ago it just started exploding on social media. So something must have happened. So I'm putting it at number 1. Sometimes all you need is buzz to win.
Yeah, I've got X-Men '97 winning. It's probably more critically acclaimed than most of the shows we're going to talk about for drama, comedy, limited series. I think the hard part is getting in, because again, when you've got a lot of established contenders in categories where the voters aren't necessarily, reaching out beyond, their familiar favorites, getting in is the hardest part for a new show. But if it gets in, I think it wins. And then I've got Simpsons, Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, Blue Eye Samurai. That's mostly because those are also up in our odds. I'm tempted to take out Blue Eye Samurai and put in Big Mouth. I believe Big Mouth has been nominated before.
Yeah.
And so it's
It has, yeah.
It's established with Emmy voters. So that's my 5 at the moment.
And Maya Rudolph has multiple Emmys for Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up here. That's probably going to be our longest slugfest of the 3 that we do, because we threw in these extra variety show categories. So we'll come back with more. We'll have another slugfest that's specifically focused on drama, and then another unlimited series, or maybe we combine them. We'll decide at the time, but we'll be back. All right, thanks everyone for watching.